Hi, I'm Mike Moodian, and welcome to the inaugural edition of OC World. We are a nonprofit media organization dedicated to Orange County politics, arts, culture, and life. We focus our first episode on a crisis that is affecting all of us dramatically, the coronavirus pandemic. And as this pandemic ravages the U.S. and the rest of the world, Western states such as California and Washington have become ground zero for best practices and procedures to combat the disease. California in particular was one of the first regions to quarantine residents and implement social distancing. This has enabled city and county leaders in the Golden State to keep the cases lower than the rest of the nation, especially here in Orange County, even as the number of cases and deaths throughout the nation increase each week, with experts saying the true number of people infected is unknown. We begin our broadcast with possible hope on the horizon as research teams at the University of California, Irvine join the global effort to develop a viable vaccine and treatment for COVID-19. Reporter David Nazar joins us now with more. And David, certainly a medical treatment for the coronavirus can be confusing, it can be complicated, it can be extremely overwhelming. What are the scientists and researchers over at UC Irvine working on?
Mike, as is the case throughout the U.S., there are some amazing doctors and researchers at UCI working at a frenzied pace to find a cure. Currently, there are 16 clinical trials underway to find the best combination of medications as well as that vaccine. UCI scientists are also working with patients' own antibodies and serum, as well as stem cell research to treat and eventually cure COVID-19. And they have a unique relationship with the OC business and tech community, helping advance the medical science with Irvine, part of the Silicon Beach Tech Hub. Joining me now to discuss all of this are Dr. Suzanne Sandmeyer and Daniela Bota. Dr. Sandmeyer is professor of biological chemistry at UCI's School of Medicine, as well as the vice dean of research there. Dr. Bota is an MD, PhD, and the senior associate dean of clinical research at UCI, as well as the chief scientific officer for the Center for Clinical Research. Thank you both so much for being here. Dr. Bota, let me begin with you. I mentioned 16 clinical trials underway. Which are the most promising currently?
I would have to say without any doubt that the study on which we are taking the most pride right now is the remdesivir study, which was funded by the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases. This is the study that brought us the first drug that has the possibility to improve the outcome of the patients with COVID-19 admitted to the ICUs. I'm of course referring to the remdesivir, the medication that was just approved last week by the Food and Drug Administration. And UCI was one of the main centers recruiting and enrolling patients on that study. And to the date, we have enrolled more than 22 patients.
Dr. Sandmeyer, your university is implementing something kind of different. Artificial intelligence and machine learning to sort of track some of your patients.
Artificial intelligence has made the greatest impact on imaging, but immediately when confronted with some of the puzzling aspects of these coronavirus disease victims, our artificial intelligence team, in particular, Dan Chow and Peter Cheng at the UCI Medical Center, they appreciated that artificial intelligence could be brought to bear on the pattern of medical characteristics that incoming patients have. So one of the mysteries of coronavirus disease is that patients can appear to be doing well one day and the next day they may be in a desperate situation. So they applied artificial intelligence techniques to identify the patterns underlying the blood specifics, the blood sample parameters that we traditionally look at in an incoming patient in order to identify patients who might be at particular risk. And so now they couple those parameters with the incoming patient's examination so that they can identify patients who are likely to convert from being basically not very symptomatic to being in extreme distress in a day or so that it allows us to triage patients and allow people to go home who are not going to have serious disease, but be able to take in patients who are likely to deteriorate very rapidly within a few days. And so it improves the safety for the patients, it improves security in the hospital, and overall everyone benefits from that application. And their predictions have been shown, including data from other medical centers, to have very high sensitivity and selectivity.